Sewing a French front placket. The French front placket is a stylish placket that has no stitches exposed on the outside. Learning the method of stitching French front placket would help you make shirt that looks more formal. Objective: at the end of this class, you will be able to sew a French front placket. Let us first familiarize with the tools and materials that you would need to stitch a French front placket. You would need cotton fabric, pattern square, straight ruler, tailor's chalk, interfacing, shears, a pair of small scissors, contrasting thread, iron box, measuring tape, and a sewing machine. Now let's watch how to stitch a French front placket on a sample fabric piece. Step 1. Measure, mark, and cut out the required sample fabric pieces. Measure and mark 10 inches by 10 inches square on a double layer of cotton fabric with the help of a pattern square, measuring tape, and a tailor's chalk. Use shears to cut the squares of the cotton fabric. Cut 2 strips 10 inches by 1.5 inch wide of the interfacing. Step 2. Place strips of interfacing on pieces of fabric and stitch. Place the smooth side of the interfacing on the right side of the cut edge of both sample fabric pieces. Join the 2 layers with 1/4 inch seam allowance. Remember to start and end with the reverse stitch. Cut the thread ends. Do the same on the other sample piece. Step 3. Fold the sample piece and iron the interfacing. Turn the interfacing to the wrong side of the fabric along the seam and press it down. Turn the pieces around and again press with the iron box staying at the spot for a few seconds along the whole length. This will make the interfacing stick to the fabric. Now fold the seam 1/4 inch over to the wrong side and press. Do the same on the other sample piece. One is the button stand placket and the other is the buttonhole placket. With that, we come to the end of this class. Let's recall what we have learned. You learned how to stitch a French front placket. Let's review its basic steps. Step 1. Measure, mark, and cut out the required sample fabric pieces. Step 2. Place strips of interfacing on pieces of fabric and stitch. Step 3. Fold the sample piece and iron the interfacing. You have now learned how to stitch a French front placket on fabric. Take our next class to learn how to stitch a fly front or cover placket.